All right, so let's get into it. We got the parking structure signs for Loma Linda. So I'm going to go ahead and make one video for both sign types, but we have sign type 3, which I'm calling the big boy, even though there's two of these. They're almost 20-foot panels. And then we have sign type 5, which is technically 4 panels that make one big old sign. And I'm calling this the 4-banger because there's 4 panels, even though there's 2 of these as well. So there's technically 8 panels. But so 4 panels make one sign. So we'll go over that, breaking that up. So you got ST-3 and ST-5. So that's these guys right here, just to clarify. So essentially we have concrete pillars here, 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 and then we have what might be concrete pillars there. And then that's for sign type 5. And then sign type 3 is going to bridge across these pillars here. So it's one big long unit there. So that's what we got. So let's go over the lay of the land. Let's start with sign type 3 here, the big boy. So it's going to be mostly an 090 frame in order to get that rigidity that we're looking for. So you're going to have 090 parts. We're going to have 1/4-inch plates for mounting to the pillars. We've got back skins because we want it to look clean and closed up in the back. So we'll have that. We got jigs, asymmetrical. We'll go over that, but we got front jigs and we got back jigs, all 090. Since we're going 080 white faces, look for these guys here, and they'll have the scribe marks on the back. And install patterns for this. So, and then let me jump over to sign type 5 while we're doing lay of the land here and keep going on that. So for this one, we're going to have, like I said, it's going to be 4 panels, but there's a total of 8. So these are the backers for each panel. So a lot more there. These are going to be the mounting plates, similar, just smaller for those each individual one there. 2 sets shown. You're going to have 10 total. These are equal distant, and they're just going to get painted. And I don't know if they're going to vinyl on site or if they put them all together and do vinyl. But anyway, so get these faces bent up and get those paint. And then we got install patterns for that. So anyway, so now that we're here, let's just stick with this one. This one's going to be mostly old school. You're just going to be cutting tube like a fiend. What's up, Edgar? So you're going to bring in enough for all of this. I got you hooked up. So we got 44 quantity of 25.5. You're going to have your 45s on the ends. And then you're going to have these either 45s or just straight pieces there. So I got them color coded and everything for you, but it's all 2x2 aluminum square tube. Also, you're going to need aluminum square tube for the big boys for both of those. I'll get you a cut list for that, but that's just going to nestle right in there. When I send the files, you'll have your cut list. So for that one, but anyway, so let's get back to these. So really what you're going to do is you're going to break it up into 122 inch. You can see the 45 goes on the end and then it's kind of, closed up. And then you're going to have a 128 that's straight like a ladder. And then you're going to have another 128 and then you're going to have another 122. So if you go towards the bottom here, this gives you your layouts. So like I say, these are just old school. So you're just going to cut all your pieces, get them cleaned up, make sure you're as accurate as possible. And then I gave you all your layouts. So starting from the end, I gave you on center. So I scooched everything and made sure it was all even numbers for you. Well, I mean, fraction there, but easy for you. No weird stuff. And then you can see where your mounting plates, all your mounting plates are the same. They're 4 inches, but you'll have so let's see. So the way I have it left, I have left pillar L1, and then this panel here is L2, and then L3 goes to L4, and then here's the center pillar. And then you have right 4, right 3, right 2, right 1. So even though these are all equal, it just sort of keeps everything sort of, organized for you. So just work your way over, do your 122, weld it up. I even gave you spacing in between. You'll jam your L1 right up in there. I have our girl Rosie there. She's saying that you're going to want to weld this up really well. Now, I don't weld the entire thing here. We don't need that. But you probably want to go all the way across here. Go ahead and do all 4 inches there. Come down around here, do a good one there, and then maybe do a couple in the middle. and then make sure you do like maybe a good 4 and a 4 there. So just make sure these plates are welded in really well. Of course, they're welded to the back. So set this on your table and then push this to the back and weld it on this side. That's going to mount directly against the wall. So work your way through, get your panels all welded up. Just like here, like these are just straight. So you got your 128s. You're going to go ahead and put your L3 right there, put this up against there, burn it, and then work your way across. Here's all your measurements. And then this one's actually inset. So you put this one 11 inches on center and you put that 4 inches all the way against, and you will have basically tubing sticking out. So that's 10 inches in right there. So use those to figure that out. And then it's just mirrored. So work your way this way. So get that all welded up. Once those are all welded and everything's nice, then you're just going to flip them over and you're just going to load your back skins on. I went ahead and made sure that you have, you're splitting the brace right there. And then anything with the magenta is where the 080 white is going to sit. So that way when you go, so what you're going to do, get these all done, get them out to paint. When they come back, we're going to be doing a VHB party. Probably using that black VHB that likes over, Bird showed me the secret little stash over there. So you're just going to go ahead and VHB all of this. But where you see the magenta here, you want to make sure that you get like 2 runs of the 1 inch on there. So that way this seam is nice and stabilized. So, so the magenta here, that's that seam for the white. This one here will be the seam for the white. It'll cross over here. And then that'll be your next seam for your white, and that'll be your next seam. Otherwise, the rest of these can just have one hit, and that's fine. So, but it's going to be that simple. And then install is going to go ahead and hit it up with the LDTs, the 1/2 inch, and they're just going to go ahead and nail that down. So if for install, ignore these little guys. We thought we were going to do that, but we're not doing that. Let me go over the pattern for install. I already did this with Jonathan, but in case anyone else is watching and wondering what's up. So I would suggest starting with the center pattern. I went ahead and made the pattern to the size of the pillar. So you'll notice that I'm going to go to switch the wireframe here. So you'll get this line here, and I have it called out. This is the edge of the column, quote unquote, for reals. If the, it says that the column was 42 inches across. So you should be able to line up your paper pattern. What I discussed with Jonathan, he understands, is like, we'll do a laser across. So kind of get the height, set the top of the cabinet, get that started. And then you can take this pattern, and I gave you a top of a cabinet, which would be, this isn't going to be color, but you'll have these lines here. And then you're looking at L4 and R4. This is the beginning of this whole left side, and this is the beginning of this whole right side. And then what I gave you is I gave you the edge of the chamfer as well. So I'm not sure if the 1 inch lines up perfectly, but maybe that'll be a good reference for you as well. But the idea is get this line dead center, and that's where you start. And then I went ahead and gave you the measurement for the first panel. So then you're going to take this pattern, this next pattern, and you're just going to go ahead and put that on the next pillar here. And then, of course, the next one will go there. But in case these pillars are off, the main important thing to do is to measure from this edge over and start working. So that's what I'm saying. Start from the center and then go 128. And then the line here should be at 128 to this edge. So maybe it's a little off from the pillar. Get it started on the pillar, but it could be off a little bit. So you want to make sure that you get that all set up properly. And then from there, the next one is 122 inches. So once you get this pattern and then get this pattern, then get this pattern up there and get that, hooked up on the edge. But you might be scooching this over a little bit, and because you're going to measure from this line and then go over to this line, and it's going to be 122 inches. So start from the center, go 128 to this line, get this pattern nailed down, and then go from there 122 inches to the edge of this cabinet. And then you'll find that probably this edge won't be perfectly in line with the edge anyway. So I've also put here, there's supposedly supposed to be 100 inches between columns, so you could verify. So if you see that that's off already, then, but like I said, get this started in the middle and work your way out. And then you can kind of course correct as you go. So 128, 122. And then same thing, work your way this way, hit the small column. You want 128 to here. And then from this line, you want 122 to here. And then, like I say, forget what that edge may, you'll be able to see how much off it is. But that's the most important. Look for your top edge of cabinet, and then you should be free to just drill your holes. You should be good to go. Drill your holes there, and then good to go. So anyway, so a little bit over explaining, but we're good to go. I think that's it for that. Now let's talk about the other one. So the other one is going to be similar, except it has to support its own weight over a 20-foot span. So this one, because we want the rigidity, you're going to go ahead and build a 090 frame, and then you're going to slide 2x2 through it to give it that strength, but also whatever, that rigidity, all that. Now you're going to have two end plates at a 1/4 inch. So essentially these corner pieces, the side pieces here where they mount, this is the only one that's asymmetrical. So the back side is different than the front. This is going to be reminiscent of like GGs that you just did, where the 1/4 inch plate is going to be the back jig. So this will be completely closed up because the frame is going to go around this. So you're going to use this as the back jig. And then I have custom front jigs. That's why I'm saying this is asymmetrical. So on the front, you'll have 090 jigs. Now, because you won't have any access, once you close up the back with this 1/4 plate, then you'll only have front access. So I went ahead and made the flange stick out quite a bit, so you can do the flange there. Plus, I'm giving you plug weld holes on the frame itself. So you'll be able to front weld those and then clean it up with the grinder. And that should hold that all together really well. And then what you're going to want to do is, so you're going to go ahead and assemble the entire 090 frame, get it good to go, leave the end off, and then go ahead and slide the 2x through. And if you cut them to the right size, you'll have a little bit of play, should be just right. And then what's going to happen is this 2x will sit right on the 1/4 inch plate right there. And then you're just going to burn, baby, burn. Go ahead and nice and strong, like Rosie wants you to, just burn that real good. Burn that 2x to the, I thought I had a side view here. Where's my side view? There it is. Yeah, so you'll see there's your green right there. We'll go ahead and make that right there. So there's your 1/4 inch plate. You'll see it says perfect right there. So burn it really good, and then close it up and get in there and try to get your gun in there and try to weld the 1/4 inch plate to the 090 frame as best you can. Now I know it might be tough to get in there, so you'll be able to go from the back side, so you can flip it over, and if you want, go ahead and tack the 090 flange to the 1/4 inch plate on the back side too. You'll have room for that, and then like I said, and then put the front jig in there, get that in there, and just do the best you can to get that taken care of. And then once you get that handled, all of these middle parts, all these middle parts here are, these are all universal. So the only ones that are asymmetrical are these end pieces here. So you have this piece, and it fits, with all this, and you got a front jig. These jigs and all of these are all the same. Just make sure that they face the right way. You go ahead and when you do the seam for the top and the bottom here, I've got a hot seam right here. You don't have to do Lords. So just go ahead and put that on your table, click it together, weld this up really well because it's kind of unsupported. And then that way when you go to put this on. So like I say, build your frame, get all these in there, slide that through. Once this is in there, then you can go ahead and burn on the back side because you're not going to be able to get in there from the front side. So like usually, you can weld here. So you'll have a little bit of space to burn on the 2x, so you can kind of work your way around. But in order to make this nice and rigid, make sure you weld each of these to the bar. Don't put too much heat because it's going to want to shrink this a lot if you put a lot of heat in each of these. But a little bit of shrinkage will be good because it'll put it under tension and it'll be really rigid. So, but yeah, just work your way through and make sure you burn the 2x to each of the verticals. And then, so once you have this all burnt, put the end on, everything's all secure, everything's burnt, clean it up. Then you will be lordsing the backs on just like the other ones. They want this closed and looking nice on the back. But like you did with the Indio letters, you're going to have a gap between the 1/4 inch and the skin. And then when we go to clamp it down, it's going to taco. So you're going to have a little spacer just like you did on those Indio letters. I gave you a 193 big Cleco. You're going to clean up the back, take this and Cleco it to the back, and then go ahead and tack it in place just so it holds itself there. And then that way, once you have that in there, Then when you go to put these on, you'll see you'll have room for the, all this right here. You'll go ahead and lords that really well to that filler piece. And then that way, when we go to clamp this down, it doesn't squish and bend, and we have positive smash. So you can see that green right there is where that filler piece goes. So it's just a kind of, Anyway, so and then once you get that taken care of, the front is all open like we talked about, just like the other one. Send it out to paint. When it comes back, you're going to go ahead and tape it all up with the VHB, and they're going to do a 4-piece face. Now I went ahead and made the faces fit to the size of the panels that they have for color. That way the seam is hidden on each color, and that way it's easy to do. So if you look, I have a 1, I have a 2, I have a 3, 4, and a 5, 6. Those are the floors. So kind of following this right here. So, and just in case they have to switch or they want to, change it or something, theoretically we could peel the face off. So anyway, and then same thing with the pattern. I already went over that, but a lot easier on this one. You're just going to line that up with the edge, just like the other one. Except on this one, it's important to make sure you got 228. That's more important than anything. So put these up, get your laser up there, get the top of the cabinet, get them level to each other, and then just double check your measurement from this line, run a tape all the way across to here, and then adjust the pattern as you see needed for 228. And then that way all these holes will line up just right. So, long walk for a small apple there, but I think you guys got it. If you have any questions, hit me up. But I think that handles it all. So, yep, that's it. Good luck.
Check the technique. Check the technique.